everyone. We'll go ahead and get started with our meeting tonight. I'd like to welcome you to our regular call board meeting, December 19th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the Estill County Board of Education boardroom located on 253 Main Street in Irving, Kentucky. At this time, I would like to call this meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everyone, and we always start our meeting by standing and saying the pledge. Do I have a couple of volunteers to say the pledge to help lead it?
Really good volunteer.
Come out here in front. Come out here in front.
No.
Oh,
You got it. You got it. I have faith in you. Anybody that can do that on a 3D printer, they can do the pledge.
Okay. Ready? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you all for that. I'd like to remind everyone there's a sign-in sheet as you enter the boardroom. If you'd like to sign in, that sheet is there for you. Mr. Brock, do we have any revisions to this evening's agenda?
We do not.
First on our agenda then, we have our recognitions. We have school and student presentations, and we have Estill Springs Elementary here to present. Ms. Mullins?
Mr. Simpson, do I need a mic or am I good to go? Okay. The PowerPoint is for this, yes. The student presentation don't be our Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to come and present some of the great things that are going on at Estill Springs. It is hard to believe that we are halfway through the school year. It flies, it really does, but we've had an amazing time and we have learned a lot this year, we've grown a lot, and we have a lot of things that we want to brag about. For this mid-year update, we want to talk about some goals that we have set. We have students who are going to talk about celebrating that growth, and that growth is academic, it's also social and emotional. We're going to share ways that we've been gaining confidence and different ways that we are using our social and emotional learning at school to also learn about other cultures and make sure that we are very aware of our diversity and how we can celebrate that. First on the agenda, I have two very special young ladies who are here to talk about 3D design with their teacher, Mr. Matthew. So I'm going to pass the microphone to him and let him share with you some amazing Christmas projects that they have completed.
All right, so I was here last year. I don't think it was December. I can't remember what month it was, but we talked about, because last year was our first year doing 3D design in my classroom. We just got a 3D printer last year. So this year, I brought back Ella. She was here last year. She did, if you remember, trains, 2 trains. I showed her initial design, her follow-up design. But not only that, this year I also brought Riley, and this was her first year 3D designing. She's in 3rd grade. I only do it with 3rd, 4th, and 5th. But first we're going to talk about Ella's design. Ella, when she came to me, it was, I think my 2nd rotation is the middle one, so it's October, somewhere in that neighborhood. But all of my beginning of the year, this year we did Christmas ornaments. Except she said she wanted to do something a little bit more extravagant. And why did you say you wanted that?
Because I wanted to come back to the board meeting.
Because she wanted something good enough to come back to the board meeting. Great. So what we did was I said, all right, well, let's look for something a little bit better. And I brought her up to my computer, and we looked at some pictures of some designs some other people had made. And I was like, well, which one do you like? We can use one of these as kind of inspiration. You can put your own design twist on it. And
That's a picture on there, Jeremy. You
yeah.
can go to I think it's the 3rd slide.
Yeah, there you go. There's a picture of her from last year with her trains. That second picture, top right, that is one we'd found online. There's a picture someone else had made a design like that. So I saved that picture, and we used that as kind of reference. And at the bottom, you kind of see that's the progress when she went through and designed it herself. I helped her with some of the side pieces with funny angles and stuff, but 90% of that is every bit Ella. And then she chose the colors and what she wanted. We tried, if I had saved pictures of the design process she had, we tried stars at the top, we tried different things on the sides, we tried different bases, but this is what she came up with. We printed one, but it was completely flat. And then, here, go show the board members. So your final design, let them see it. And then our final design, we made the base to where it'll stand up on its own, kind of like the one that she picked out originally. And then once it printed, it prints all in one color, and we used paint pens, oil-based paint pens, to kind of add the color to it, so it'd be the colors that she wanted. The printer we have now only does one color. I'm looking at ways to get funding to hopefully get ones that do 4 colors, but that's something future. But for right now, we use paint pens to kind of help make the colors the way they are. Yep. So make sure you show everybody. Yes.
Why don't you walk down the middle there?
So that one's Ella's. She did phenomenal. I'm very proud of her. Jeremy, can you go to the next slide for me? All right, so this one here, Riley, I said, we only do the 3D printing with 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. She's in 3rd grade, so this was her first opportunity at it. And when I said Christmas ornaments, I mean, yes, what she wanted could be made into a Christmas ornament, but she wanted something that I'd never heard before. Riley, what did you say that you wanted me to find you?
A warrior cat named Thrushpelt.
Exactly. She wanted a warrior cat named Thrushpelt. Did I know what a warrior cat named Thrushpelt was? Absolutely not. So I had to ask her, and I said, well, what is that? And she said, Warrior Cats. Well, it's a book series. So actually we looked it up, and I'm like, how many of these books are there? And there's like 1 million. So she listed off how many you read. How many have you read, you say? I know. When I had the list up, she's like, I got that one, that one, that one, that one. I've read them all. So what we did, I went first myself before I had her come and work with me. And I said, all right, well, let's just see if anybody's made one that we can grab and modify or something like that. No. No, never going to be that easy. So here's what we did instead. Just towards the end of the time that I had her, I said, all right, well, we got to figure something out. So come up with me. And she sat right at my desk. And the top left picture we found, that's like some fan art of the series. It's nothing that's anything official. It was uploaded to the site. It's like free to use for personal use. Just don't profit off of it. So, okay, we can use that. And what we did was we went kind of off the rails completely, and we first took that picture and we used AI to upscale it. We cropped it. We used AI to remove the background. Then we found an AI tool to turn to the bottom right picture, a 3D model. Then we took that 3D model and put it in a Tinkercad that we use, which is the bottom left picture, and kind of took off some of the base and extra pieces and parts. And hold them up for them, Riley, let them see them. These are what they came up with. The first one, the blue one, that one was just a test to make sure it prints. We have no problems. And then the other one I printed once I knew it would work. And here, make sure you show these up here. I printed that one in a color that was close, and we used the same paint pens to kind of make it true to color. So while this one isn't all nuts and bolts, she's taken every single shape and doing it. This was all just an idea that she had, and working with me, she was able to take resources available to her and make the idea that she wanted become a reality, a thing in her hand. So I'm very proud of that, because not only did she end up with what she wanted, that process is something I've never done before. I've never went through that many steps to make a 3D model and print it and have it in my hand, paint it, and match. Yeah. I learned enough in that one that it's going to change the way that I talk about to my future classes about 3D printing and with AI, because normally I do my 3D printing for my innovative designer section of standards, but when I started talking, when we looked at, here's an image that's free for personal use as long as you don't profit, that gets into digital rights. When we get into AI, that's the whole separate standard section when we talk about emerging technologies, and then end up with exactly what she wanted. And I'm telling you, she's very proud of it too. I know she is. I'm very proud of her for what she was able to do this year as well. And then, it's not just these two. These are two that kind of are above and beyond from what we normally do. But if you were to look at my Christmas tree in my classroom, I have my Christmas tree up. I just put lights on it, and there are ornaments all over it. Every single ornament on that tree is a student design that I've printed and did the finishing touches. I've been adding them as they've been coming in as soon as I put my tree up. So when you walk into my room, I have some that, a lot of them like to just do plates that have like their names. So I had one that did one that said, "Baby, it's cold outside," because they like the song. I had a lot of snowmen. I had some that like to do bulb ornaments and put like their initials. It was all over the place, but the kids were super excited about it, I know, because I cannot tell you how many times I've been asked, "Have you printed mine yet? Is mine next? Is mine done? Where's it at?"
Which is why we want a lot more of those printers, please.
And I'm like, I only have so much that I can do. It takes a while. But I get stopped in the hallway all the time. They're all about it. And then I said, I only do this with 3rd through 5th, but of course I have K through 5. There are 3 ornaments on my tree that 2nd graders made me out of paper because they want to be included too. Because they saw the ornaments like, I want to make one. I'm like, next year you can. So instead, for right now, like I have a paper snowman on my tree. I have a paper one that someone put their name. So they're really into it. I love doing it because it's just an awesome project, seeing what these kids can create, just on their own, out of their own imagination. And like I said, right now we just have the one 3D printer, but I'm looking at ways that we can
We've applied for some grants.
We applied for one grant, and if that one goes through, then it would be for like 3 more printers that could do multiple colors and everything. If not, I'm looking at other options, other grants that are out there, because I'd like to get more so I can print them faster. I'd like to get printers that can do multiple colors, so instead of having to use these paint pens and that stuff, we can just say, all right, this is what you want. If you can do it in 4 colors, go.
Yeah.
How much is a printer?
The one that I'm looking at that does 3 colors is about $1,200 each. So, but considering how much they used to cost, that's really not that bad. But still, knowing we're in education, we have to find the funding somewhere. So that's something that we're looking at. I applied for a grant, so hopefully we hear some good news on that.
Ms. Mullins has some instructional monies as well.
Also want to point out, I am also wanting a 3D scanner so we can scan real objects that we can manipulate. That's much cheaper. But that's our 3D printing that we've been doing this year.
I think these girls deserve a big round of applause. We are very proud of them, and it is important to me that you all also know, adding an allocation for a technology teacher is something we did just a few years ago, and I want you to see the fruits of that as well. I can't wait to see what these students will do as they move into our middle school and high school programs, our ATC, because the fire has been lit, and he's doing a wonderful job fanning that flame. You families are doing a wonderful job about bringing them in and letting them start these presentations, and there's no telling how far this will take them. So we're really, really proud of them.
On that note, one other thing I do want to mention. So I did the level 1 STLP judging for regionals recently, and I was judging mostly high school stuff, and I actually judged multiple groups for the Ignite Institute in Northern Kentucky. And I've contacted, because they had 2 or 3 groups that did 3D design stuff as part of their biomedical class, and they were partnering with with the Cincinnati Hospital and multiple other firms. I've talked to their coach, and he said that after Christmas he would be absolutely great if we're going to set up a Google Meet so that their students can talk to ours and show off some of their stuff they're making, because they're using Tinkercad the exact same way we are. So that's something I'm going to have as many kids as I can. Let's get in a Google Meet so you can see some of these kids that are not much older than you. You'll be there soon, and what they're doing the same stuff you are right here in this class.
There's a professor at SCC that's one of the leading innovators too. I can put you in contact with him
Awesome. Thank
for
you.
3D printing and modeling.
Mr. Robertson, give us an idea, if these students continue to have an interest, what are some degrees or professions that they would use this in?
Well, that is very rapidly evolving. I'm just going to tell you, because honestly, it was just about a month ago, my mom even sent me an article, because she knows I do 3D printing in my classroom, and it was about how the 3D printing's advanced now where you can, the super high tech can print with metal, and they're now printing tools on the space station. So that's, way out there, but medical field, all over the place right now for whether there are flexible casts. So instead of your standard cast, that's something that's being designed. I know there's plenty in the automotive industry, even though it's not like a mechanic, but automotive as far as pieces and parts that go on vehicles. Those are just ones, I said, the ones that I'm gonna link up with for the biomedical field. They were looking at adaptive devices for people with disabilities, or like adaptive devices for people with arthritis and easier for them to write, adaptive for people with vision impairments for special canes, that sort of thing. So medical's got a ton of it. Automotive and industry's got some as far as specialized parts, but it seems like every day I look at a new article that I see of 3D printing here. Actually, I just saw the other day that Nike's releasing a shoe that is 100% 3D printed. So
Now, that's what I wanted you to do, is just give everybody an idea
yeah,
about the future and
It's
how
everywhere.
we are molding these students now, if they're interested, that the future is bright.
it's everywhere because it's an inexpensive way to manufacture because you don't have a ton of waste materials.
They're 3D printing houses too.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, yeah, they're 3D printing houses with concrete. So yeah, and they're. I'll let you have that conversation.
We'll have that one private.
I bet I got some students that help you design them.
I bet you do too.
All right, girls, let's give them another big round of applause. That was a big presentation. Good job, girls. You want to stand right over here with Mr. Matthew? The next group of students who I have here is a very special group of first graders who are already trying to move from first grade into their new careers. And I've had to encourage them to let's go on and finish up elementary school. But they're going to talk to you tonight about their projects and about the jobs that they have applied for already.
So we all know that at Christmas time, all of our babies love to do lots of crafts. So we have decided that we are going to become elves. So earlier this week and last week, we completed like a craft so that they could design their own elf. And to make it more real world, I talked to my students about how when you go out into the world, you have to apply for jobs. So I asked them if they had ever heard any of their grown-ups say, I need to apply for this job, or I need to fill out that application for whatever it is. So they were able to make a connection between what we're doing in the classroom to what they would know in their home. So our kiddos applied to be elves, and they had 3 different choices of different jobs that they could apply for. So we have 2 friends who want to be toy makers and work in the toy workshop. And then we have another friend who is like me and really wants a job in the gift wrapping industry. So we also had a 3rd choice, which was they could be in the elf bakery. So they had to design a toy in these boys' cases of what they wanted to design while they were in the workshop. So, Riker, what did you decide you wanted to design?
Police car and a cow.
This boy loves police cars and he loves cows, so he wanted to make a toy police car and a toy cow. Cole, what did you design?
RC car.
He wants to make an RC car. And Everly wanted to be in the gift wrapping shop, so how did you want to design your presents?
A bunny rabbit.
She wants a bunny rabbit on her, was that on your wrapping paper? Yeah. And she's got a big fancy blue bow on her present. And she even drew herself wrapping the present too. So they worked really hard. They had to decide whether they are in the Christmas spirit all the time. They love Christmas. I told them if they didn't circle yes, they probably wouldn't get hired. And they also had to say whether they could work long hours or not. And Cole, what did you tell them?
We work 7 hours.
We work 7 hours at school every day. I think we can do it. That's exactly what he said to me whenever we were doing this in class. So they had a lot of fun. I do this every year. It's one of my favorite Christmas activities to do with my kids, so I always enjoy it.
This is Miss Worrell, who has been teaching first grade,
3rd year here.
3rd year, and how many years total?
11 and a half.
11 and a half. So let's give these students a big round of applause. Good job, friends. All right, you all want to stand right here with Miss Worrell? All right, the next group of students we have are our 5th graders. They're on their way in. Come on in, guys. Yes, you. I'll give you a little bit of background before I pass the microphone over, but we're going to make some connections here with our social and emotional learning, which is Choose Love. And that's the program that we're using school-wide, and our fifth graders are combining that with some knowledge about Christmas traditions and diversity. So I will pass the mic to Miss Weekly. I have Miss Weekly, who's not going to take the mic, and I have Miss Wilson, who is going to take the mic because she's not tenured.
That would be a threat. These slides are pulled up. You know these slides?
He's pulling them up now.
Oh, okay. So fifth grade's been working on learning about different holidays to celebrate diversity in the classroom. It's often just Christmas crafts that are done in fifth grade, and we wanted to make sure that we were inclusive and learned about others so that whenever we were faced with those situations, we would be knowledgeable. And are our slides getting pulled up?
Yeah.
The ones that I shared. Do what?
I think she shared it with you
Yeah.
on.
One says Kwanzaa and one says, yeah.
There they are.
Yeah, there they are. So our first group will be presenting about Hanukkah, which was a different holiday that they were assigned. They did do all of this research by themselves and create this visual presentation all by themselves. So the first group is Colby, Emmy, and Raimi with Hanukkah. Right there. Go over there to that screen.
We'll let you all hold. One of you can hold it, all of you can hold it. Okay. And if you tell him next, he'll move to the next slide. Okay?
When did the holiday begin?
Hanukkah means declaration in Hebrew, and the holiday marks the representatives that templates of Jerusalem in the 2nd century BC.
When is Hanukkah celebrated?
Hanukkah usually falls in November or December. The date changes each year since Hanukkah is on the Hebrew calendar, which follows moon phases instead of being a standard calendar such as ours.
Where is Hanukkah celebrated?
Hanukkah is celebrated all over the world by people in Jewish faith.
What do you eat for Hanukkah?
The food you eat for Hanukkah are fried potatoes and jelly donuts.
How to decorate for Hanukkah.
Over the past few decades, many have begun to decorate the interior and exterior of their homes with special decor, outdoor lights, and festive blow-up fixtures.
What music is played to celebrate?
After reciting the blessing, it is tradition to listen to Hebrew music. One of very popular English adapted songs is Rock of Ages.
They practice skipping on their own, so having somebody do it for them,
What is worn to celebrate?
There is not a traditional outfit for Hanukkah, but the colors blue and white are symbolic to Jewish people and are often worn around the holiday.
What activities do families do to celebrate?
Lighting the menorah, playing the game of dreidel, and eating special holiday foods.
Very good.
And our next holiday that they're presenting will be the Chinese New Year with Corbin, Gypsy, and Chloe.
When did Chinese New Year begin? Chinese New Year began around 16,000 through 1046 BC. Chinese New Year started because people wanted to celebrate their ancestors in memory.
When is Chinese New Year celebrated? Chinese New Year is celebrated depending on the moon, but usually Chinese New Year is around January the 21st through February the 20th.
Where is Chinese New Year celebrated? Chinese New Year is celebrated in South Korea, Vietnam, China, and countries with significant Chinese population.
How to decorate for Chinese New Year. People decorate for Chinese New Year by decorating their houses with blooming flowers, dark red and gold, handheld fans, and lanterns. These are some ways that they decorate for Chinese New Year.
What music is played to celebrate? Songs that are played to celebrate Chinese New Year are like Jasmine, Flower, Gong, X. These songs represent symbols or letters from culture. They can also represent their ancestors' music.
What is worn to celebrate Chinese New Year? People celebrating Chinese New Year often wear red or bright colors. Many Chinese New Year celebrations often include people wearing red, which symbolizes good luck. If you don't have red, you can wear gold, which symbolizes wealthiness.
What are activities celebrated during Chinese New Year? People celebrate Chinese New Year by doing feast with new food, sending or receiving red envelopes, setting off fireworks, watching dragon and lion puppet dances, visiting temples, and doing karaoke.
What do people eat for Chinese New Year? People eat the following foods to celebrate this for Chinese New Year. Fish to represent an increase in prosperity, dumplings and spring rolls to represent wealthiness, tangoon to represent family togetherness, good luck fruit to represent fullness and wealthiness, naiguan to represent a higher income or a higher position.
Thank you for listening and watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Project by Chloe Boykin, Gypsy Abney, and Corbin Fowler.
Okay, thank you, girls. You all can come over here and join us. This, like I said, combined our Choose Love SEL program where we have been talking about gratitude and diversity. It was a way for them to combine that, share that knowledge with their students, and they did make those presentations all on their own, which is a social skill that they need to have as they grow up. The last thing we have is a song. We want to leave you with a Christmas song. Corbin, will you tell our choral students to come in? Our chorus students have been at school. They've not been home yet. They're doing it a cappella, Jeremy. We walked to the hospital. We caroled our way to the hospital. We were able to sing Christmas carols for several patients there. We traveled back through and got to Christmas Carol for Miss Kissick, which just made my day. And we've made our way down here. So tonight they have a very special song, which also includes some diversity in it. If you know it, you're welcome to sing along. Our music teacher is Miss Lydia Smith. This is her first year here with us, and we're really proud of the work that she's doing with our students.
It's Dominic the donkey, jiggity jingy honky honk. Down
Thank you all for allowing us time to share this evening. The very last slide, Jeremy, is the last thing I want to share. This has been a lot of joy. This has been a lot of excitement, but I really want to share with you, back one more, Jeremy. When we look at I want you to know academically, our overall growth as a school from fall to winter, 21% at or above in the fall to 45% in the winter in reading, 10% to 30% in math, and then the next slide, Jeremy. Students who have improved 2 or more grade levels in reading, 27, we've reduced that, I'm sorry, let me back up. 2 or more grade levels below, we've reduced that from 27% in reading to 16% and 31% to 15% in math. So there's a lot of great things going on, a lot of exciting things, but academically they're growing and they're making gains and we're celebrating. And we wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Thank you. You all are welcome to exit at this time. Thank you for bringing your students. I love you all. I'm so proud. Thank you.
You all did a great job. Thank you all for coming. You did a fantastic job.
Keep the blue one.
So lots of excitement, lots of exciting things going on. Thank you to Estill Springs Elementary for those presentations. Moving on to our agenda, we have item B under recognitions. We have the swearing in ceremony of our SRO, Tom Beal and Patrick Yantz. So y'all want to come on up? We'll give you the oath to be sworn in, Mr. Brock.
So, okay. Is this one on? Okay. So I'll let you all hold that. So we have 2 newer SROs. They're not new. I'm sure you all have seen them around. And they have already officially been sworn in, but we wanted to do a ceremony for our community and for our board and for them as well. Both of them are very hardworking. They do a great job of developing relationships with our students, and they've just been a wonderful addition to us here at Estill County and for our Estill County Schools Police Department. We have the chief, Tom Bell, and we have Patrick Yount. So,
Turn around.
do y'all want to do it separately, together? It doesn't matter. Okay, well, we'll do it separately. All right, so first, our chief, Tom Bell. Repeat after me. I, Tom Bell,
I, Tom Bell,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
so long as I continue to be a citizen thereof,
as long as I continue to be a citizen thereof.
and that I will faithfully execute,
I will faithfully execute,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
the office of Chief of Estill County Schools Police Department,
the office of Chief of the Estill County Schools Police Department,
according to the law.
according to the law.
And I do further solemnly swear
And I do further solemnly swear
that since the adoption of this present Constitution,
since the adoption
of this present Constitution, I have not fought a duel with deadly weapons
I have not fought a duel with deadly weapons
within this state,
within this state,
nor out of it,
nor out of it,
nor have I accepted a challenge
nor have I accepted a challenge
to fight a duel with deadly weapons,
to fight a duel with deadly weapons,
nor have I accepted as second
nor have I accepted as second
in carrying a challenge,
in carrying a challenge,
nor aided or assisted
nor aided and assisted
any person thus offending,
any person thus offending,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I further solemnly swear
I further solemnly swear
that I, as Chief of the Estill County Schools Police Department,
I, as Chief of the Estill County Schools Police Department,
I will endeavor to the best of my ability
I will endeavor to the best of my ability
to detect and prosecute all gamblers
to detect and prosecute all gamblers
and all others violating the laws against gaming.
violating the laws against gambling.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Yonts, repeat after me. I, Patrick Yonts,
I, Patrick Young,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and be faithful and true
and be faithful and true
to the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
to the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof.
as long as I continue a citizen thereof.
That I will faithfully execute,
I will faithfully execute,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
the office of School Resource Officer
the office of School Resource Officer
of the Estill County Schools Police Department,
of the Estill County Schools Police Department,
according to law.
according to law.
And I do further solemnly swear
And I do further solemnly swear,
that since the adoption of this present Constitution,
since the adoption of this present Constitution,
I have not fought a duel with deadly weapons
I have not fought a duel with deadly weapons
within this state,
within this state,
nor out of it,
nor out of it,
nor have I accepted a challenge
nor have I accepted a challenge
to fight a duel with deadly weapons,
to fight a duel with deadly weapons,
nor have I accepted a second
nor have I accepted a second
in carrying a challenge,
in carrying a challenge,
nor aided or assisted
nor aided or assisted
any person thus offending,
any person of this offending,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I further solemnly swear
I further solemnly swear
that as a school resource officer
that as a school resource officer
of the Estill County Schools Police Department,
of the Estill County Schools Police Department,
I will endeavor to the best of my ability
I will endeavor to the best of my ability
to detect and prosecute
to detect and prosecute
all gamblers
all gamblers
and others violating the law against gaming.
and all others violating the laws against gaming.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
And then there were three.
And then there were three. All right, let's roll.
Okay, that brings us down to our action items. First on our agenda, we have consideration for approval of a new fiber contract. Mr. Brock.
We have a new fiber contract. That's Jeremy's.
Every year, we have to apply for, or every 5 years, we have to apply for a new fiber contract. This goes out to official bid, as through an RFP process. It's open up to anyone in the entire United States. We had approximately 4 vendors present or provide quotes, through anonymous bidding. And so through a send it to KDE because it's a lease that totals over $100,000. Once they have approved it, then I can use that to apply for federal funding to provide our fiber connections, to connect all buildings together.
Okay. With that discussion, I need a motion for approval of the new fiber contract. Sheila Samples makes a motion. Do I have a second? Tammy Hardy makes a second. Do we have any discussion? If not, I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? The motion carries with a 4-0 vote. Next on our agenda, we have consideration for approval of the FY '24 financial audit. We have a guest here with us to review our audit.
Before you guys go, I just want you already have a PDF of it. There's a hard copy. I'm Chad Allen. We're out of Richmond. As of now, the firm name is my name, PLLC. Need that?
Yeah, just for online.
Okay. All right. I'll start. I'm Chad Allen. Right now, the firm name is my name, but due to growth in our firm, we'll see that changing over here pretty soon to Associates, Allen and Associates. So if you guys will see that, that's the reason. So this is your all's June 30th, 2024 audit. We appreciate you guys bringing us in. It's awful nice to have a school district this close to travel to. We do probably in a straight line, probably the longest distance between two school districts in the state is Bolton Independent, and we do Ashland Independent. It would either be them or Jenkins Independent. One of those two through there is probably the longest straight line in the state. So definitely, we appreciate being able to come here. So this audit report is 85 pages long. So I'm not going to bore you guys and try to go through it. But the key page to this is going to be page, where are we at here? 84. So this page 84 is a summary of all 85 pages here and the results of your all's audit. It's called the Schedule of Findings and Question Costs. So this part of this packet describes, there's actually 3 audits in here. There's a financial statement audit, there's what we call a yellow book audit, and then there's a single audit. So for the financial statement audit, the school district received the unmodified opinion on the financial statements. What that means is that these financial statements as presented in here can be relied upon by a third party. And then the second part, the yellow book audit, in that if there were findings for the school district, that would be one of the places that there would be findings from. The school district did not receive any findings in regards to internal control or compliance with state laws and certain regulations. That third part of the audit, the single audit, it applies to federal major programs. That is a determination that we make based on certain criteria. The only major program this year would be those COVID monies, the ESSER, which that has come to an end now. But within that part of the audit, there were also no findings. So ESSER is something that I've been touching on with all of my school districts. That's coming to an end or has come to an end. Locally, we've seen some school districts go under because they didn't plan for those special revenue fund expenditures in that grant to be moved back over to general fund. The school district here has budgeted for those to change over, so that's just one of those things to always keep in the back of your mind as you're reviewing the budget. It's just that just because you see at the June 30, 2024 a healthy fund balance, some of those are going to change over. But there is no concern for it. I'm not worried. It's just something that I want the board to be aware of that you see. So those are the things that I typically present. So overall, it was a very good audit, very clean audit. We didn't find any problems that should be
addition, yeah, we approve the financial audit.
Okay. I have a recommendation
Thank you.
from Mr. Brock that we approve the financial audit as presented by Chad Allen, CPA, PLC, from Richmond, Kentucky. Do I have a motion? Sheila Samples makes a motion, Carrie Smallwood makes a second. Do we have any discussion, any questions? With none, I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries with a 4-0 vote. Thank
Thanks,
you.
sir.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I present another one.
Thank you.
Next, we have consideration for approval for the Estill County High School bass team to go on an out-of-state trip to Leesburg, Florida, January 22nd to January 28th.
It's bass fishing team's gonna go out, or wants to go out of state for competition down in Leesburg, Florida. It's my recommendation we approve it.
Sounds like a good time to go fishing. Do we have a motion? Sheila Samples makes a motion, Tammy Hardy makes a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? The motion carries. Next, we have consideration for approval of a shortened school day. Mr. Brock.
So you all should be familiar with this by now. When the committee determines that it's best to have a student on a shortened school day, they make that determination, and then it has to be approved by the board. It's my recommendation we approve the shortened school day. And this is just for particular students.
Okay, I need a motion for approval of a shortened school day. Sheila Samples makes a motion. Do I have a second? Tammy Hardy makes a second. Any discussion? If not, I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? The motion carries with a 4-0 vote. Next, we have consideration for approval of the 25-26 calendar committee.
So you have a list for the calendar committee. The only thing that's missing from it is we will need a board member to volunteer to serve on that. Before we move forward, does anybody want to volunteer to serve on the calendar committee?
Sheila's done it in the past. I don't,
I'll just do it like I've always done it, if that's okay.
Carrie did it,
Okay.
yeah.
So
I was
with,
thinking Sheila did it.
I did,
Oh,
about
okay.
the first 3 or 4 years.
so with Carrie being on the committee, that would be the board member, and then you have the list of names. Do it every year to set the calendar for the following year, so it's my recommendation with the addition of Carrie that we approve the calendar committee.
I need a motion and a second for approval. I have Sheila Samples and Tammy Hardy. With, I need to call for a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? The motion carries. Next, we have consideration for approval of a tentative MOU for Gear Up for 2025.
So Gear Up is a grant that we have through Partners for Rural Impact right now. It provides services for students. It usually starts in middle school and follows them all the way through high school. Usually starts with a couple grade levels. The seniors this year is the last group as they've been followed through, and then that grant ends in June 30th of this year. However, more money from the federal government has opened up. We can reapply. This tentative MOU allows us to pursue the grant, and then if we were successful in getting the grant, that would come in fall of 2025. So this is just the steps in getting us started and approving the grant. I went ahead and put it on the meeting tonight because the paperwork has to be done by January the 15th.
I need a motion to approve the MOU for Gear Up for 2025. Sheila Samples makes a motion. Tammy Hardy makes a second. Do we have any discussion? If not, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have consideration for approval of the Comprehensive District Improvement Plan, or otherwise known as the CDIP.
Yeah, the CDIP, every year, it starts in the fall. We have to fill out stuff in the fall. This is like the third round of it. January is when it officially, well, December the 31st, it officially has to be approved by all local site-based and then the board. And this would be our comprehensive district improvement plan for this year. And I'll say it again, it makes absolutely no sense that we're approving a plan right now for this year because we've had a plan since last spring. but it's what the state requires, and it's also something that I've asked them to revisit. We should be approving in the spring a plan for the following year, because if we've got to January and we don't have a plan to improve, we're already behind. So this is formality, because we've been working the plan since last spring. So it's my recommendation we approve.
I need a motion and a second to approve the plan.
Motion.
And so I have Tammy Hardy and Sheila Samples makes a second. Do we have any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. That brings us down to our consent items. Mr. Brock, would you like to discuss those?
It's just the minutes from November, the treasurer's report, paying the bills, superintendent's travel, which is on there every month. KASS was my travel this past month. And then I didn't go, I think I may have went to one director's meeting for co-ops. And then the approval Little Caesars fundraiser, that's for choir music, performing arts at Estill Springs, so they can raise money. It's my recommendation we approve all of these.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the consent items as discussed. Tammy Hardy makes a motion. Sheila Samples makes a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have our superintendent's report. Mr. Brock, give us an update.
Okay, so we just are finishing up. I think we did the last makeups today. Did you all finish at the middle school today with your makeups?
We have 2 students who are absent today.
So tomorrow. So we'll finish tomorrow then. I think we finished at Springs, and then I think you all have one. This is our diagnostic that Ms. Mullins was showing you some of the data on. We'll come back in January and show you all the progress from that. High school uses IXL. I know they're doing that. So I have already pulled the data without all of the makeups, and I'm looking at it. We're seeing growth at every school, and that's a very good thing. And so I'm very well pleased with the progress that we have made. So that's the testing piece of it. Performing arts have done a wonderful job. You all heard our 5th grade sing tonight. If you got the opportunity to go to the concert last night at West, or if you got to go out the other night to the middle school, they have done an amazing job. I'm so proud of. I thought they were really good in October when they performed at the high school, and then last night, boy, they were even better. So proud of our kids and so proud of the opportunity that we've been able to provide for them as a district. Athletics is in full swing as always. If you haven't got out to support the engineers yet, get out. We got a Christmas tournament coming up or a holiday tournament. Get out and support them. Support everything that's going on right now. This is our last week of school. Tomorrow, we're kind of rolling through. I can't believe half the year is already gone, but it is. We've had some ups and downs, but overall, it's been a really, really good semester. So the middle school planning is in full swing. We have had our 3rd meeting, Jeremy, and we have our 4th scheduled coming back in January. The site prep we should have a better picture in January of what that's going to look like. We do have a tentative floor plan. If y'all want to sneak up afterwards, I can show you. It's in my office. It's tentative. And anybody that's interested in that, shoot me an email and come by. It's not written in stone, but I'm happy to share that. It's not secretive. Anybody can look at it, and I'll explain it to you, what it's going to look like. I go December the 27th to Frankfurt to beg and plead for more money, but we've already done some pre-work. I sent a video to leadership this past week that we actually made for SFCC back in the fall. Have been in communication with them, so I feel like we're in really, really good shape there. Attendance at this time last year was at 91.88%. This year we're at 92.4%, and we're holding steady at 2,203 students. Oh, there you go. You've got the PDF of it. So that's the tentative layout. It will be one floor. That way that every classroom has windows. And if you look, those gray areas, those 4 gray areas would be outdoor classrooms and outdoor spaces. And then the bottom gray area would be the band. Traffic will be totally separated. Buses will come in and drop from the left. Parents will come in and drop from the right, and a road that goes down behind the football field and connects back to Engineer Drive. So, like that. The road coming in for the buses has changed a little bit simply because We have changed the elevation that the school is going to set. It was targeted at 760. We're trying to move it to 770. That puts us about 200,000 less cubic foot, give or take, on the dirt that we would have to move to make a site. So, thank you, sir. You were prepared. Well, I give you credit for being prepared because sometimes we're late because of you, so we'll.
Okay.
I will say this, and I won't make his head too big. He is the best technology director, district director I've ever worked with. He really is.
And my husband loved to sub for him better than anybody.
He's amazing. We got a lot of amazing people. I love my staff. I say it all the time. I got the best staff in the state of Kentucky.
All right. We're moving right along.
Yep. Principals reports.
Principals reports. Ms. Mullins, you're up front. Do you want to go first? Do you have anything to add?
You think you covered it?
I think I've covered it.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Next, we have Miss Tasha Halcomb.
Well, I'll go ahead and start. I'm extremely excited about the middle school. It's been a great process. I've enjoyed working with everybody on that. I'm excited for the kids and our staff to get this opportunity of a new building. It's phenomenal.
I graded them pretty harsh on the first one, didn't I? They were
You
great to
did.
work with, but
You
I was
did.
not real happy with their site, or their building design. But they took notes. They went back.
They did a great job listening to what exactly we wanted and what was best for our kids and our vision, and they came back with something that I think is going to be amazing for everybody.
They came back with what you saw there, and their exact quote was, "We're not happy with our B. We want an A." So.
So we have a lot of great things happening at Estill County Elementary or Middle School right now. For the last 12 days, we've been celebrating Christmas, and it has been probably my favorite part of the entire year. Our kids are excited, our staff's excited. We have fed our staff every day this week. We've given a gift to every single student in the building this entire week. We have seen our kids staying after school. If you come to our building at 4:30, there are probably at least 50 kids still in our building with after-school clubs and extracurriculars, and I've not seen that in a couple of years. So we've got FFA going strong, FCCLA going strong, HOSA going strong. Like I said, FFA the other night had 53 members stay for their party, for their Christmas party, and it was just the noise in the building, to hear them laughing and building those relationships and just having a good time and celebrating with each other. It's phenomenal. So there are some great things happening out at our school right now. Miss Pointer took her ELA classes to the local food bank, and they helped out at the pantry and helped deliver food, helped stack shelves and everything, working on that servant leadership. So we're seeing a lot of things happening, not just in our extracurricular classes, but in all of our classes. Miss Kentucky came by and visited us this past week. She came by through FCCLA, but she actually talked about FFA and ag and how important agriculture is to Kentucky and especially to Estill County. So that was really great to have her out and about. Our band and choir, Mr. Brock's already talked about them. They did a phenomenal job. If you can hear those kids singing in the hallway from the beginning of the year to now, you would not believe that it is the same classroom, same set of kids. Miss Arthur is phenomenal, and she is doing a great job with those kids in that program. After our program on Tuesday, we sent out a form to our kids. We are now, with the help of Miss Brock and Mr. Yost, we are offering a third choir class at the middle school. So we will now have 3 classes that we can offer to our students, and we had 30+ kids sign up for that class after that performance. So our program is really improving, and it is thriving, and it is because of the help of everybody. One thing I really want to highlight is, he's reading my mind tonight. You are on it. Our math scores, even though we still have 2 students who were absent, I wanted to pull this up because I'm extremely proud of our kids and our staff at the middle school. You can see there the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade fall projections for proficient, distinguished, and winter. In the 6th grade, we were at 23.4. We are now sitting at 34.39. In 7th grade, we were at 34.7. We're now sitting at 43.9. It's December, and we are almost at 50% already with our kids being proficient and distinguished. 8th grade, we were at 10.66, and now we're at 24.11. Our kids and our staff are really working hard, and we are so proud of them. You can see the novice reduction is there, and our kids are growing. So if you see them out and about, tell them how proud you are of them, because we can't tell them enough. And one of the best things that they like is hearing their name come across the intercom at school for a positive office referral for those scores. And it's really showing they are working really hard. Our reading scores are looking phenomenal as well. In 6th grade, right now, we're sitting at 42.04 for proficient and distinguished. 7th grade, we're at 48.59, and our 8th grade is at 29.52. But one thing I want to highlight is that novice reduction there for the 8th grade. We are moving kids. They are growing. And every kid in our building right now has grown at least 1 grade level. So we are thrilled with them and the work that they have put in. We just want to make sure on behalf of Estill County Middle School, we wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I'll go ahead and hand it over to Ms. Moore.
Thank you. All right, we will talk a little bit about our Success Academy. At the end of November, we were in a meeting with everybody in central office, and I just kind of threw out an idea that we could, if everybody wanted to, we would do a 12 Days of Christmas for our Success Academy students. Our Success Academy is housed down here, so I wanted to get everybody involved and to let all the people from here kind of do a tradition from their home and bring it to our kids and just have a little bit of fun with them. And my kids have absolutely loved every second of it, but I think the adults have loved it even more than the kids have. We've had just the best time with it. I was trying to write down everybody so I didn't miss anything. Miss Barnett did ornament painting. Miss O'Brien did hot chocolate and cookies. Miss Williams took them to the nursing home. Mr. and Miss Cornett did homemade goodies with them, which was a huge hit. They loved seeing Mr. Cornett in the apron and helping them cook. They thought that was fabulous. We went, our absolute favorite thing that we've done so far is we went to South Irvin and got to read to the preschoolers. And my kids had the best time doing that and involved in crafts with those kids. My favorite story from that is we have a boy who does not like to talk to us much, and they had a preschooler who they said did not like to talk much, and somehow they ended up sitting right beside of each other, and they talked to each other the entire time. And so we were really excited to see that and hear that story. But Miss Brooklyn Moreland did cupcake decorating with us. Miss Sutter and Miss Rader came down from the high school and did Christmas tree art with our kids. And then Miss Bryant, Miss Williams did stocking decorating. And then when I sent out the email, how Miss Rader, Miss Sutter, and then the bus garage got involved. And when I sent the email out to central office staff, they said, hey, we would like to do this too. So the bus garage invited us up to eat today. So we got to go up and eat at the bus garage with all them, and our kids had a great time with that. So we had a whole lot of fun. And it's just been really great to see them enjoying all these different traditions that everybody else has. And we've just enjoyed every second of it. So that's what's going on at Success.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Next, we have West Irvin Elementary.
It has been a big month at West. I cannot believe we are halfway through this school year. It seems crazy to me. It's flown by. We've had a lot of celebrations. We've had some PBIS dance parties. We've done a lot of dancing, actually. We really like to dance at West. We had our cheerleaders who went to regionals. We had our Cocoa Carols and Kindness, which is where our kindness committee created handwritten notes for all of the parents in drive-through, and they handed out cocoa while our chorus sang. So that was great. I think that our parents really enjoyed the handwritten notes because they were words of affirmation for the parents. And then we had a new principal for the day. That was really good for me. I'm not sure about him. I believe at one point he came in, sat down, and said, "Whew, have you met your kindergartners?" And I was like, he did some serious supervision in our PBIS dance party. He said that he told them multiple times they could not run, and they did not listen to him. So that was a fun day, and I really enjoyed that. We finished up our iReady diagnostic, and we saw so much growth. I'm so excited to share that with you all next month because I think that the work that we're putting in is really starting to show. And then we had just a lot of holiday learning and fun all throughout West Irvin. Weston the Elf has been there. There's been an incident or two, but we have, cinnamon and carols, and everything's back on track. And so it's just been a lot of fun. I'm really excited for tomorrow. I've been patiently waiting to see everyone so excited. We have a lot of Christmas breakfast going on tomorrow in our classrooms, lots of pancakes, and I have a feeling that we're all going to be very full by the end of the day.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Next, we have Ms. Hall from South Irvin.
So one of the most fun things is happening tonight. We had our Christmas drive-through, and when I left at 5 till 6, there had already been over 100 children there, and it was backed up past the church. And 100 children for us to come to a family night is a lot of children. I thought that I would start sharing some data with you. This is not the best representation of preschool students, but it's the clearest cut data that I can share. We gather data, and most of our data is anecdotal notes, which is like notes about the children that we take, and it measures their growth in social, emotional, communication, those types of areas, their motor skills. But this is something that is pretty clear that most people can understand, and it is how they're doing in what we consider math and reading. We measure it in a few different ways, but I've just highlighted some of the biggest points there, and it starts with recognizing at least 20 uppercase letters. We measure every other month, and it is a sit down with each child type of assessment, so it takes quite a while to get the assessment done. It takes about a month, and then they don't assess for a month, and then they start again with their kids. So recognizing at least 20 uppercase letters, we had 14% of our children in September to be able to do that, and in November, 28%. You can see that most of them have doubled, except that knowing the sound of at least 20 letters, it's pretty much staying the same right now. I'm recognizing at least 15 numbers. We went from 10% to 19% of our children. Counts to at least 23 without mistakes. We went from 20 to 39. Names 11 colors, that's considered in math for us, and it's 36 to 70%. Names 8 to 9 shapes, 28%. We went to 50% of our children being able to do those skills. At the bottom, I highlighted mostly, we have been busy this month with visitors. Everybody likes to spend time with preschool at Christmas time. So we had Success Academy that came. That was so much fun. And I think they're going to come back and just play with the kids sometime. And then we also had central office staff came, and some students from the middle school came. They dressed as elves. The children enjoyed that. And then I always like to see what our kids are doing for NTI Day. So they send in pictures, and we document how they're doing. And then our attendance since the last time we met has been 85.76%. And then today, we had 4 children in the whole school out. So that's like 97.7%. So I was happy with that. And that's preschool.
Okay. So we need the microphone, I think, back up front. I think that Ms. Brock is representing the high school. Mr. Yost couldn't be here tonight.
Yeah, he's under the weather.
Okay, the little flyer that I gave you for Mr. Yost, I won't go over every single thing on there, but he did want me to highlight a couple of things. First of all, we've had a wonderful Christmas Spirit Week at the high school. Lots of festive dress. The kids get into the dressing a lot. Even the adults, the teachers have got into a lot of the dressing. I've enjoyed seeing how they've dressed up. We've got on our Facebook page, if you want to check out some of the pictures on that. I think my favorite one, we had a cafeteria worker that dressed up like the bird lady from Home Alone, and she nailed it. It was awesome. So that was probably my favorite costume I've seen all week. As far as some data goes, our post-secondary readiness update, we are now sitting at 85% overall. That's combining 70% academic and 64% career. We are still awaiting our industry certification results, which won't come in until the end of this semester, 1st of January, for business and ATC pathways. One thing I do want to talk about, and Mr. Yost and I guided the teachers through setting their own CSIP goals for each department. So our department heads met with their departments. We just asked them to come up with the goals, and we were very pleased at the ambitious goals they set for both novice reduction and for increase in proficiency. We felt like compared to last year to this year, it showed a great growth mindset in the goals that they set. Excuse me. He also wanted me to give you a coaching recap of some things for 2024 this semester. We've spent a lot of time. I coach mostly all the new teachers in our building, as well as I meet each week with our science department. And then Mr. Yost, Ms. Reynolds, and Ms. Bailey, they have certain departments they meet with. We have seen increase in the integration of thoughtful classroom strategies, which, as we do our walkthroughs, we are seeing more teacher engagement, more student engagement with the use of those thoughtful classroom strategies. One of the other things is they are helping to increase our instructional rigor at the high school. We have, I coach with the new teachers in the building, one of the things we've worked on is increasing standards-based and data-driven instructional practices, along with implementing research-based practices. Each department has met this semester as a department and worked vertically on aligning their standards going down from middle school through high school, and looking at aligning our pathways. We have some new pathways that are going to be coming next school year. And then a big thing we've worked on is looking at the addition of adding an honors diploma at the high school level, which will be based both on not just college ready, but career ready. And that comes with looking at course descriptions, course alignment, prerequisites. We'll be working with the middle school to look at 3 specific honors pathways that will start in 8th grade and continue on to the high school. So that's been some exciting work. In the spring, one of our focus areas in coaching involves increasing the in-depth level of questioning that we want to see our teachers do. So we go from a basic level of questioning onto our depth of knowledge 2s, 3s, and even 4s, and not just in the classroom, but on their assessments as well. We'll continue to work on our professional learning communities. We want to focus on individual student outcomes as we go into the spring, looking at those as next steps. We want to increase that student achievements for students that are scoring below mastery level on a one-on-one basis, not just as a whole class, but looking at those students individually. And that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Brock. Sounds like lots of exciting things going on at the high school. Next, that brings us down to our board member forum. Do we have anyone that has anything to share? I think a couple of things to note, though. Our academic team was undefeated in the fall season and we're tournament champions. I think that was on Ms. Brock's paperwork. And then Will Beckley placed first in the Bluegrass Region FFA Agriculture Day. So those things are really exciting. We have 2 new coaches that have been hired. Tanner Crow will be taking over baseball. Ronnie Riddle will be the new coach for the ladies engineer high school softball program. So that's real exciting news there.
We have Miss Elizabeth here for scholarships.
We have Miss Elizabeth Rader was awarded a scholarship in Prestonsburg on December 10th. Do you have anything you want to share about that?
No, but I'm very thankful, as well as Hayden Bowles. Been in Mason Hospital.
Yep. So had 4 total, so yeah, that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, we didn't even know we were going until I saw them all there, and I was like, oh, what are you doing?
So that was the YMT Mountain Classic scholarships that were awarded, and so we had 4 high school students that were awarded those scholarships, so that was wonderful news. I think Mr. Brock made mention that our boys are in Gatlinburg right now playing in a Christmas Classic basketball tournament, and then we have an at-home tournament December 27th that'll be at the high school. Those are some of the things that I'm aware of. Does anybody have anything else they want to share or anything that we've left out? These flyers that you all make to present, we use those as part of our board meeting minutes. And so these are kept in that big black book that we keep the minutes in. These actually go in that book. So thank you all for your hard work, and thank you all for those flyers, and they are part of our history here now, so thank you all for that. Do we have any public comments, Mr. Simpson?
No, we have 2, but Mr. Brock is going to.
Yeah, we had 2 public comments. It doesn't really go anything along with the agenda. One of them did, and Ms. Isford answered that question about the new softball coach. The other one, I will reach out to them personally, has to do with safety and making sure for our students, and I'll just answer vaguely and reiterate that everybody we hire goes through double background checks. We have a handbook that we require all employees to follow, and we do as many checks and balances as we possibly can. We do everything we can to try to ensure the safety of our kids in all situations. That's why we have procedures in place. That's why we have the checks and all of that. We do everything within our power to keep them safe. There are things that happen sometime, unfortunately, that are outside of our control, and every time something happens, we'll continue to evaluate and see what we can do differently, but it is our goal to keep our kids safe, so.
Thank you, Mr. Brock. With that being said, I need a motion to adjourn. Ms. Sheila Samples and Ms. Carrie Smallwood, all in favor? This meeting is officially adjourned. Merry Christmas, everyone.